Don't mind me, I'm just enjoying the view. Welcome back! Atlas Fallen has officially been released, and we are closely monitoring what you people out there have to say about the game. But in honesty, me talking here is pre-recorded. It's recorded the week before the release, so I have no idea if you love or hate the game. But we never gave you a proper introduction to Tainted Stones, so now is as good a time as any to actually fix that. Get a warm cup of tea and listen to the soothing voice of Erwin while he presents the magical abilities his team and him have been working on.
The Essence Stones are divided into 5 categories. Those are damage, tricks, momentum, survivability, and healing. The damage Essence Stones, as the name might suggest, are all about dealing either more damage or dealing damage in different ways to your enemies. And one of the fascinating things about this category is also that it contains some ranged attacks, which is something it's by default not present in your moveset as a player. And you might find that you're struggling dealing with enemies that want to get away from you. And then it's like, nope, I'm gonna swap in this thing, and I'm now throwing a big lance at your face. The tricks category of Essence Stones, it's quite a fascinating one because it covers a lot of things and it might not be so instantly clear what this category means. But if I had to describe it in one sentence, the category of tricks Essence Stones is all about messing with your enemy. That can be debuffing them, stunning them, and the most impressive one for me is slowing them down, also because it's visually very nice to see some enemy be very quick and annoying and suddenly it's all in slow motion and I can read it perfectly fine. Momentum is of course a very important resource in our game. A lot of the combat system revolves around momentum, and that's exactly where the category of momentum Essence Stones comes into play. So these stones are all about finding ways to better or differently or quicker generate momentum or prevent the loss of momentum, as there are also some things your enemy does that might make you lose momentum. Survivability Essence Stones are another category that is quite straightforward. It helps you stay alive in a variety of different ways. But where I think it's worth highlighting this a bit more is that our momentum system, of course, has an inherent risk reward. As we have more and more momentum and more Essence Stones are active, we become more fragile as a player. And this is exactly where I can counter this as a player and not die as hard as I would if I don't do that. And that's often a question that came up in development. It's like, I don't like the downside of this. Well, use survivability Essence Stones. The healing category of Essence Stones is quite simple. It's all about healing. So we have a different healing system in Atlas Fallen. That is the Trinket. It's a self-sustained system that works on its own. It doesn't need the Essence Stones, but it might not always be enough. And sometimes you're out of healing charge. And that's exactly where healing Essence Stones come into play. A special type of Essence Stone are what we call the Tainted Essence Stones. And a Tainted Essence Stone can be of any category, so it could be a damage or momentum one. And what makes the Tainted Essence Stones special is they are extraordinarily powerful compared to regular Essence Stones, but therefore they come with a downside, so a negative effect you have to offset as a player. And these Tainted Essence Stones, they are obtained by defeating what we call elite enemies. These are one-time encounters found in the game, and they're especially hard to complete, but if you do, those Essence Stones are the reward. As we discussed, the Essence Stones are really a way for you to customize the way you play the game. But it's not only that. It's also sometimes the Essence Stones can be the answer to a problem you're encountering. And we've also really designed things around that. So you would be perfectly fine to stick to the Essence Stones you like, but the situation might call for you using one that you maybe haven't tried before. Where, for example, there is a specific enemy, it really relies a lot on spamming projectiles. And that's the majority of the thing it's going to be doing. And I really like relying on an Essence Stone that grants me invulnerability against projectiles for 10 seconds, then fires back a big projectile of my own, based on all the power of the projectiles that it's absorbed during those 10 seconds. And to that enemy, that's basically a big middle finger in its face. You can obtain Essence Stones in a variety of ways. This is really, think of, for example, we have an economy system with a vendor, so you could be buying them from the vendor, or you could just be lucky in finding them in a chest. Each enemy also drops one particular Essence Stone dedicated to this enemy, but the main way of obtaining Essence Stones is we are most often not finding a stone directly, we are instead finding a recipe. And that recipe, it teaches us how to fuse an Essence Stone from some materials. And those materials, it's a combination of plants, so those are found in the environment, specific biomes would have specific plants, and minerals. Minerals are things dropped by your enemies, so it's really a combination of combat and exploration that grants you the resources needed to fuse Essence Stones. And there is one core ingredient here, also named conveniently an Essence Core, and that means for you as a player, this is more rare to find. When you find it, you can craft a new Essence Stone. Those Essence Cores, they are obtained by defeating the bigger enemies in our game. So that's really one of the most desirable things coming from killing the bigger enemies in the game, as that allows us to craft a new Essence Stone. Because besides that Essence Core, there really isn't much more to it. There are some common ingredients which you need as a player to fuse that stone, but those are things you pick up on your way. We really wanted the barrier of entry to crafting to be as low as possible, because you will be finding a lot of recipes and we want you to be able to try those stones. And then before you decide which ones to upgrade and which ones to really invest more resources in, you get to try them. Of course, I'm also someone who plays a lot myself. And one of the things I never like so much is when I'm using something in a game, right? I'm having a lot of fun, I'm smashing things, and then my equipment goes. It sort of isn't relevant anymore. I'm presented some new options. I need to drop the thing I was using because something better has presented itself. And this is really where the upgrading of Essence Stones comes into play. Because of course we give you new Essence Stones along the way. We promote you to try out the new, slightly stronger things as you go. But we never want you to not be able to use the things that you've been using and loving so far. So you can upgrade your stones, make them stronger, sometimes even get additional effects. There's an example, one of my favorites is what we call the hammerang, is I think the design name. It's a stone where we throw a hammer and then it comes back to us. And that final upgrade, it also adds a slowing effect to this Essence Stone. So I now not only damage things on range, but I also slow everything it hits. And in the end, our over 150 Essence Stones, we want all of them to be viable. So really, every single Essence Stone is a viable option, and they're balanced to be roughly at the same strength level. We've been playing around with these stones ourselves now for months, years even. And we've always been balancing, going back and forth, QA, different people or us ourselves finding weird, stupid, broken combinations. Suddenly the player can barely die, or we have a full momentum bar within a second. I think we've got rid of a good amount of these, but I'm scared, but also really looking forward to how you are going to be breaking our game.
Hello, it's me from the past again, and I still have absolutely no idea how you like the game. But what I'm sure of is that the people that actually love the game will have told us by now. And for that I want to thank you in advance. From the past. If that makes any sense to you. Anyway, go play Atlas Fallen. Feel free to tell me in the comments below how you liked it and what your favorite Essence Stone is. We speak to each other again very soon. Thank you very much. Bye bye!